Okay, here we're going to look at how to factorise by using the common factor method. Okay, factorising means that if we've got an expression, here we've got an expression here, if we can make that look a bit simpler, if we can put it into brackets by finding something that the both terms can divide by, then we have factorised. So, our method is step 1. We have to look for the biggest number that divides these terms. So, essentially, what's the biggest number that divides 5 and 35? Okay, the biggest number is 5. So that is going to go outside the bracket. Then we have to look at the letters. Is there a letter in common? S and T are different. No, so there's no letter in common. Okay, so it's only 5 that's going to be outside our bracket. What we have to do now is we need to put terms inside this bracket in such a way that if we were to multiply out this bracket, we would get back to this answer here. So 5 here times what is 5s. So we're going to have 5s. And 5 times what is plus 35t. That's going to be plus 7t. Okay, in this second example, we've been asked to factorise this expression 12s plus 36r. Step 1. Look for the biggest number that divides the numbers. Okay, so obviously 2 divides these, so does 4, so does 6, but the biggest number is 12. You've always got to find the highest common factor with the numbers. So the highest common factor is 12, so that goes outside your bracket. You look at the letters, do they have letters in common? S and R, no. Right, so we need to think of 12 times something is going to be 12s. Okay, so that's going to be S. And 12 times something is going to be plus 36r. So that's going to be plus 3r. You can always check if you've got these correct. See if you're to multiply back out this bracket. 12 times s is 12s plus 12 times 3r is plus 36r. If you multiply out this bracket, you should get back to your original expression. Okay, here we've been asked to factorise this expression, 7xy minus 14xz. Just follow through the same procedure. Step 1. Is there a number that divides both these numbers? What's the biggest number that divides both these numbers? We can see that the biggest number that divides both of those is 7. Step 2. Is there a letter in common? Okay, we can see here, excuse me, that we've got x here and we've got x here. So that means that I can take x outside my bracket as well. 7x is my highest common factor. Right. What I need to do now is I need to think 7x times what is going to give me 7xy. Okay, so I'm going to need to have y there. I've got a negative sign here, so I'm going to take forward this negative sign. And then 7x times something is minus 14xy. So I know that I need to have a 2 because 7 2s are 14. And I'm going to need this one to be z because that will give me 14xz. Remember, you can check your answer by doing the first term times the first term, essentially by multiplying out your bracket. That will give me 7xy, take away 14xz. I know I'm correct. Okay, in this fourth example, we just have to follow through the same process, it's just this time the terms are a bit bigger. Step 1, look for the biggest number that divides this and divides this. So look at what's the biggest number that divides 4 and 12. That's going to be 4. Step 2, look for the letters that they have in common. So we can see that this one here has BC in common. And this one here has BC in common. So that means they are going to come outside my bracket. Okay, 4BC is my highest common factor. So I just need to think now, 4BC times what is going to give me 4ABC? So that's going to need to be A. And then I'm adding on 4BC times what is going to give me 12BCD. So I'm going to need to have 3D. Okay, remember you can check your work. Multiply this bracket out. That would give me 4ABC, because you write the letters in order, and this would give me plus 12BCD. Okay, in this final example, it's slightly more complex because we've got this squared term here, but if we follow through the same procedure, we shouldn't encounter any problems as long as we just make sure we're doing all of our checks throughout. Step 1, what's the biggest number that divides the two terms? What's the biggest number that divides 8 and 24? So that is going to be 8. Step 2, do they have any letters in common? So obviously here we can see an x squared, and we can see that this is an x. If we can recall that x squared is made up of x times x. So essentially what we've got here is that in this first term it's got x in common. So in this expression they've both got x in common. Okay, so that is going to get brought outside the bracket. So then I just need to think, 8x times what is going to give me 8x squared. So remember this fact, x times x is x squared. So this one here is going to need to be x. Then I'm going to need to subtract 3 to make the second expression work. Okay, so if you were to multiply back out your bracket, 8x squared minus 24x. I know I'm spot on. So your process. Step 1, look for the biggest number that divides the terms. Step 2, look for the letters in common. Then those two things put together go outside your bracket, just like we've got here. And then essentially what you need to think of is the thing outside your bracket times what is going to give you your first term, and then the thing outside your bracket times what is going to give you your second term.